Welcome back to the Intuitive Painting series, and this is the third part. And I like to call it Steal Like an Artist because it was inspired by a book that I read from the author Austin Kleon. And I'm going to get into that book a little bit later because it's what we're going to use to add on to our work. But for right now, I am peeling off my paper from the table and getting all of the tape off of it, and then I'm going to take a step back and look at the artwork that I made. So I have 3 bigger pieces of paper. You might have more or less depending on how you started out. Now, some of these you might really love, but then there might be others that you're like, I'm not too into this one. And that is the one that we are going to continue to explore. So first off, let's look at the artwork itself. For this part of the process, I chose one that I wasn't really that into and split it up into 4 smaller pieces. When I split this up, I did it according to the best composition. So when we're looking at composition, we are looking at the arrangement of elements in an artwork. We're specifically looking at lines, shapes, and colors. So when I am finding the perfect composition, I am using a viewfinder just like this, and I did it by taping pieces of mapboard together, but you could do cardboard, you could really do anything, as long as you have these 2 L shapes that are used to zoom in and crop on a composition before you cut the paper. That way you can go ahead and find the perfect composition. Now, when I am looking for the right composition, I am going to ask myself these questions. Does this artwork have enough variety? Do the elements create movement throughout the piece or create a nice rhythm? Does it feel balanced or harmonious? So if there's a lot of line work in one section, does it get balanced out in the other side? Is there a part that's too heavy? Does it have a focus? Or is it all over the place? Is it too chaotic? Can I make it more simple? Or is it too simple? What do I need to add more of? What should I take away? So basically, you're cutting into smaller pieces according to the best composition. Now, some might be beautiful final artworks that you don't want to mess with anymore, and that's fine. But some you might want to add something to. So in the next part of the video, I am going to show you how to add more to these tiny artworks using the idea of stealing like an artist. In Austin Kleon's book, Steal Like an Artist, we really talk about the creative process and where inspiration can come from. Copying and plagiarism happens when we take one person's work and we recreate just that. The magic really happens when you pull inspiration from a variety of sources and artists that inspired you. So collect lots of work. I have provided you a list of abstract, expressive, and intuitive artists that you can find inspiration from. Pick out the ones that really inspire you. Discover what drew you in about that particular artwork. Was it the colors, lines, shapes, or patterns? The more influences you are aware of and pull from, the more you can develop your own style. So let's put it all together into an original artwork of your own. Think about it like this. An original song or creative painting might seem unique at first, because you haven't seen or heard the sources that inspired the composer or the painter who came up with it. If you think of it like a research paper that you've written, at the end you are super proud of the paper that you created. It felt original, but in creating this paper, you pulled out specific information from different books and websites. The paper is the result of that research being synthesized into one succinct idea. So basically, we are going to look at a bunch of artwork, learn about their process, and then jump right back into your artwork. So how do I jump back in? Well, ideas can be borrowed and played with, so I looked at a few of the artists, picked some of my favorite pieces, and then I jumped back into my artwork. I am going to show you how I was inspired by those pieces to make my own creative choices back in these mini abstract pieces. For this piece, I was inspired by Sarah Schroeder, and I really loved this artwork that was on her Instagram. I liked the overarching line going through the background, and I really liked the idea of cutting up the paper into shapes that would make for an interesting composition. So here's a little look at me playing around with that idea. I really liked how Jesse Reno pulled out imagery from his paintings. So what I wanted to do was use that kind of glowing color and gradation to pull imagery out, as well as be inspired by some of the line work that I was seeing. When I saw these pieces by Jane Davies, I knew I wanted to do something similar with my line work, as well as incorporating something with interlocking circular shapes. I was also super inspired by the texture of this piece and the way the lines and marks throughout the center kind of bring it all together. There are no rules for this, so feel free to interpret these prompts whatever way works best for your creative practice. Choose artists that draw you in. Really think about what is inspiring me about this artist's work, and then look back at your artwork and say, what does this need? What does it need more of? What needs to be covered up? And add that extra layer where you see it necessary. Have fun stealing like an artist.